here and discussing is going to be what we see, and I believe we're going to see Tessia get very tested here by the Warrior and the Ret. Also, Waz can just get stunned and completely erased from the game. So if you're Method, you're definitely playing a risky comp here. You're squishy. You're playing a glass cannon comp. You know, you have one bullet in your op, and that's it. You know, you have to hit it. And we're gonna see here what they end up doing here. Waz is gonna be the target of choice right now for Mystic. Mystic, though, actually popping cooldowns here, using his wings there, getting good pressure onto Waz, but Waz just gonna duck back, get a big heal. Nice spearhand strike here, and that could be a setup here potentially. Nice fleshcraft, gets counterspell. That should be a full sheep here. And now Mystic, what is he going to do if they can get a leg sweep here? No, they're gonna go for the Hammer of Justice here. Nice damage. Waz still holding on to the leg sweep. Nice defensive fear here by Mercy. He gets a beautiful triple, shuts that down, and now looking to start the pain train onto Tessia. Sid.
All right, let's see if they can stay on target. And they're actually swapping over to Chaz, catching him in a Storm Bolt. No, they're setting up on Waz. Waz is going to immediately portal out of the situation, and Chaz is still left out in midfield, getting chopped up. Mystic and Mercy are willing to switch to whoever they need to, and Reload Esports are really fleshing out their entire roster. All 4 players now having competed at some point in the European finals, but Mystic is in trouble. Lontar's polymorphed up. Mystic is stunned. Is he going to have to trade? He's trying to greed it, getting some big Word of Glories out at the moment with Avenging Wrath, but they don't feel comfortable.
Whoa!
Lontar is going to trade Spirit Link. It is Zwen, so he's respecting the most powerful cooldown from the Windwalker in this exchange, but it seemed like they had kind of made it out of the woods at that point. Ascendance now allowing them to recover as well. Mana heavily in favor of Lontar, as we would expect. That's going to be one main win condition for Reload Esports, but these setups from Method, look at this triple crowd control. This looks so clean.
It really, really does, but the damage is going to fall off heavily for Waz. So with no Zwen and no Storm, Earth, and Fire, his damage is going to be significantly reduced, and this is where Reload Esports can get aggressive. So Method EU, when they have their cooldowns, they can get those cooldowns, but Reload Esports should get stable, and they can actually just go after Waz here if they want to. Hammer of Justice does land, and they take him down. It's actually going to be a sacrifice that trades by Chaz. A bit surprising, but can't really blame him. The Windwalker Monk going to be very, very kind of flimsy in this matchup if they do have uptime on him. I feel like for Reload Esports, they have a couple different options here. An interrupt, though, onto Lontar, and a full polymorph could leave Mystic, high and dry right now, taking a reasonable amount of damage, but not really. Mercy just intervenes over, completely shuts down Waz's damage, and it looks like Reload Esports is going to be completely okay. I really feel like for Method EU, their only opportunity to kind of win the game is going to be with Combustion or with Zwen, and outside of those moments, the consistent damage from Method EU is going to be quite low.
Yeah, this is going to be a big push here, though. There's no pre-Earthen Wall Totem from Lontar on this push, and there's no intervene if they can get the sheep right there, but it looks like they're not going to be able to find it. There it is, paralyzed instead. This is a big push here. Mystic's going to trinket out of that stun, immediately pop a big Word of Glory, also using his shield right there as well, and now Mystic should be able to survive with his personal cooldowns there for the combustion. Very effective trade there by Mystic, and now he can get aggressive, get back on target. There's no stuns. There's nothing for him to worry about, and now as soon as Mercy comes out, he's going to look for the Stormbolt onto Chaz, and they're going to potentially stun Waz at the same time. There's the setup. Last time Chaz had to trinket sacrifice this, but this time around actually Mercy playing defense, leaping back, shutting down Tessia from getting a counter go there. Nice double leg sweep into a Ring of Frost as well onto Lontar. Big damage here with Weapons of Order. DR Hammer of Justice onto Mystic. That's going to be the Divine Shield. Clean setup there by Method, and nice attempt there by Tessia as well, going for that crowd control there, breaking up Mystic and Mercy in their offense. Really did save Waz there as well. And now the next time that double stun combo comes in, Chaz is going to have that trinket sacrifice once again.
That actually is a bit odd. I want to check this out. It looks like Mystic is running Necro Lord Ret Paladin. So he's got ultimate form, he's going to have the frictionless coating, he's going to have a lot of absorb shields. It's a very interesting pick. He's going to be an incredibly durable Ret Paladin, but even still with the most durable pick, is he going to be able to survive? He's locked down in a stun combo, big damage following suit, managing to recover with Battlemaster and Word of Glory. Perhaps if he wasn't Necrolord, he actually would have already been dead at this point, so this is a very interesting adaptation. I don't think we've ever seen a Necrolord Paladin in particular. So triple Necrolord on the side of Reload Esports. This tells me that they're 100% banking on doing damage and running Chaz out of mana. That's usually what happens when we see triple Necrolord. It's going to be anti-setup based. This is a very interesting tactic from Reload Esports. However, they're still not out of it. Triple leg sweep. Look at the Waz making the plays here, but not enough damage to back up the stun, unfortunately. Although now it's suddenly damage out of nowhere. Lontar going to recover with the Ascendants. And it seems to me like Reload Esports, they want to trade a Spiritling Totem for a Zwen, then a Divine Shield for a Zwen, and rotate between those as their main cooldowns to deal with the Windwalkers. Zwen the Tiger. So let's see if Lontar can set up his Spirit Link. Zwen's coming up in 15 seconds.
Mystic's using the Guardian of the Ancient Kings legendary as well, so just pure durability. He realizes he's likely the target in this match, but he's going to be able to survive with all of these adaptations. They're going after Chaz, potentially able to get the Divine Shield. You get the Trinket. Beautiful, intimidating shout. They're trying to set up the damage. If they can get the Divine Shield from Chaz, this would be an absolute nightmare for Method EU, and they might be able to do it. Beautiful Hammer of Justice, though. A nice setup coming in from Method EU. Mystic's in so much trouble. And it will be the Spirit Link Totem that keeps him alive. A great counter push, but Method EU, they have to recover from that momentum swing. And right now, Chaz mana is not looking good.
Yeah, that was an excellent push, though. Chaz mana definitely still not looking good. He's in a stun right now. He's got 2 melees on him. This has got to be his Divine Shield here, potentially. No, Waz backing him up with the Vivifies right there, getting a couple of heals on him, preventing him from dropping too low there in that stun. Now Tessia with a sheep here onto Lontar. They need to do a little baby go here onto Mystic. They need to sheep Lontar, get a stun onto Mystic, and just get his trinket out of the way. And Mystic is going to have his Divine Shield coming up in about 20 seconds. So it's going to be a lot of answers here. This Necrolord Wrath is definitely standing the test of time so far. Chaz in another Hammer of Justice. Nice grapple weapon there onto Mercy. Sheep there as well. Waz with 1 Vivify, and now the War Banner gets dropped there as well by Mercy. And now, once again, Mercy looking to get aggressive here, trying to get some uptime onto Chaz. The game has basically just turned into tunneling Chaz here for Mercy, and I don't know if I agree with that. Nice Stormbolt. Now Mercy realizes that he needs to come back here and peel for his ret at the perfect time, and he does so. Full sheep, DR sheep actually onto Lontar here from the Dragon's Breath into a triple DR. He gets interrupted there by Mercy. And now Mercy can look to get aggressive. Chaz, though, sitting down for a drink, recovering his entire mana bar. This was so big here for Method. This was the main win condition for Reload Esports, just making sure that you get those double stuns and keep Chaz, on the back foot. His mana was so low, but now he has more mana than Lontar, and he has every cooldown to work with as well. Things are looking great for Method right now.
Oh, they're setting up on Waz here. 1 second left on the Hammer of Justice. Chaz trades out. Waz should likely recover with that exchange of cooldowns. A major downside of this triple Necrolord is they're losing so much damage. No Divine Toll, no Condemn for the Warrior. It's just pure durability, and if Method EU keep getting drinks like they just did, I wonder if they'll get overwhelmed by the burst damage of the Fire Mage. Combustion is rolling at the moment. They're trying to bait a Divine Shield. They're going for the Zwen. This is where Divine Shield likely needs to be traded for Mystic. Is he going to greed it out? He's sitting in the Earthen Wall Totem, trying to add to the durability. They stun Waz, but Chaz instantly dispels it. Mystic is still under fire. His team in crowd control, popping the Battle Masters. His Earthen Wall has faded. He's got no more defense remaining on it. Down at half health, generating Holy Power desperately to get Word of Glory out as much as possible, using Wake of Ashes to even generate Holy Power for Word of Glory. Everything is going towards healing at this point. Defense, 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 block, 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 but even still dipping low, managing to survive throughout this assault without using the Divine Shield. Now with Zwen on cooldown, are they going to get aggressive or defensive? It looks like they want to go after Mystic, but Mercy intervenes with the Stormbolt onto Waz, preventing him from attacking Mystic. Mercy charges over to Chaz. Despite Chaz getting a drink, he's burning through his mana rapidly.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, that's the Ret Warrior special, is you just have so much consistent damage, and Chaz is going to have to heal through all of that. 25% dampening at this point of the game. Chaz, how is he going to self-sustain? Uses the Blessing of Freedom. He needs to get away. He needs to avoid the damage at all costs, and by crossing the map, he's going to allow himself to do so. A full Polymorph Lens and a Lontar Mystic just going to be using line of sight to avoid that damage. Tessia right now does have that combustion available, so there is a huge hit of damage. And Mercy, when he leaps away from Mystic, this is a great opportunity. If there's no intervene from Mercy, Mystic's actually incredibly vulnerable to going down to this damage. Waz all over him, but Mercy is just unrelenting with his train on Chaz. Can they take him down? Potential Hammer of Justice. No, Chaz gets it first. nicely done. But Mystic, he just desperately wants to get that Hammer of Justice. Going to be channeling out the Fleshcraft in order to survive. Beautiful, intimidating shout as Mercy backs up Lontar. And Lontar trying to cross the map once again, get on top of Chaz, but crowd control is always a threat here from Tessia. If he can get the polymorph onto Lontar, Mystic will be in some trouble.
Nice Hex though onto Tessia, but he's going to shrink it out. Gets a nice Dragon's Breath into a Sheep Mystic now. Could potentially have to use something here, but that was a War Banner by Mercy. Kind of reading that play there. Very nicely done by him. Now Chaz here in a Hammer of Justice. Mystic kind of takes over the babysitting Chaz job here from Mercy, while Mercy is just jamming out in that disarm. Now Mercy looking to make his way back here, but a nice double stun. Oh, this is big here. They get a Dragon's Breath onto Lontar as well. DR Hammer of Justice. I would have liked to see that Hammer of Justice onto Lontar there maybe, but still good pressure here from Method. Nice little counter push there. It's going to net them Mystic's Trinket. They get a Sheep onto him and a counter spell onto Lontar. Mystic, though, breaks out of that Sheep with Zwen the Tiger. Waz now in a lot of trouble. He might have to use his Trinket here. Chaz trades out the sacrifice. They don't overlap. Nice place there from Method, but Chaz's mana not looking good. Chaz's health from that sacrifice also not looking good. Lontar in a full Sheep. Mystic here taking a lot of damage, and that's going to be the Trinket Spirit Link coming out from Lontar. Now it's time to get aggressive here. If you're on Reload Esports, Chaz sitting down for a drink right now. Somebody needs to shut it down. Mystic's going to make his way over there. Hammer of Justice coming out here. Waz on the opposite side here, just kiting, and Mystic trying to get some pressure there, but he doesn't want to overextend too much. Tessia now looking for a Sheep here onto Lontar. Finds it. Nice Stormbolt, but it's a little bit too slow there. Mercy once again in a disarm. There's the Hammer of Justice. There's the DR Ring of Frost. Mercy looking for the PS, but now he gets sheeped, and now Lontar is going to come out of crowd control, but it's too late. Mystic had to make the trade there. The Divine Shield coming out right there from Mystic, and Lontar has no Trinket Spirit Link. Mystic has no Trinket. The only one who can save the next setup is Mercy, and he's going to have to Trinket and use the Triple Fear or something to be able to pull that off. It's going to be very scary here for Reload Esports, especially with Chaz getting a little bit of mana there.
Oh, triple stun. This is dangerous for Reload Esports. Zwen is coming up in 30 seconds. If they don't have a clear answer, which it doesn't really look like they do, with no Divine Shield and no Spirit Link Totem, that Zwen is easily going to win the game. So Method EU need to buy 20 more seconds on the clock for Waz to get to that powerhouse cooldown, and he just needs to avoid damage at the moment. Rooting Mercy, slowing Mystic, Polymorph Mercy, just stall, get to the Zwen, go for the kill, and just clean up game number one. A very important matchup between two teams like this. They could switch their comps to such a wide variety. Zwen is coming up in 2 seconds. They use Intimidating Shout prior to it. Oh my goodness, even Combustion is going to be available for it. This is going to be a massive amount of damage available on the side of Method EU. Reload Esports are desperately trying to clamor together and kill Waz before they can get to critical mass. Waz is navigating away from Mystic and Mercy expertly, now getting back onto target. Are they going to be able to pop off with these cooldowns? They trade Sacrifice to stay aggressive. They need crowd control. They need crowd control on Lontar right now. Where is it? 5 seconds to the medallion. They're not finding the crowd control. They're just going to pop this Zwen. They go for Hammer of Justice. This is the massive amount of damage available to the side of Method EU. Mystic bops it, but Mercy is getting cleaved down. The entire team is being decimated, and Method EU close it out.
Really beautiful performance by Method EU, but I can't help but feel like Reload Esports, this is not the matchup that they wanted. I think going Necrolord on all 3 members, they're trading so much of their offensive capabilities. I mean, let's not forget how good Divine Toll is. I mean, we've seen a lot of games ended based off Divine Toll, and I feel like it's just limiting their offensive options so much. And as a result, Method EU, they felt really durable in this matchup, and they could just kind of wait till they had Combustion, they could wait till they had Zwen, and then really overwhelm that defense that Reload Esports has available. And this just played out perfectly for them.
Did Waz look angry at the end of that game? He was like hammering on his desk.
He was just fired up.
Maybe, yeah. Anyways, here's that game number 1 replay.
Think Waz is just excited right now to be playing the Waz Walker here, but we're going to see here he's just ducking around right now, trying to avoid dying in this particular moment. And now this is the situation we're talking about. There's no Trinket on Lontar. They don't get the crowd control here. Actually, Tessia going for a fake cast there when he had Aura Mastery. Big mistake, but it doesn't end up mattering here. Nice Ring of Peace, Hammer of Justice, triple leg sweep, and then look at this blender of damage from Waz. The spinning crane kick, the images, the Zwen, the combustion, just everything being popped out there, and it's almost a triple kill at the back line of that push, but still going to be a nice win there for Method, and that's it's going to open up the series here, because I think we're going to see some comp swaps coming out for both of these teams in this best of 5. So very important to get that first win here.
Yep, very, very important. Method use starting off on a good foot here in this series, best of 5 as well. And like I mentioned, lots of pressure on both of these teams here. They don't want to be eliminated just yet, so quite a bit on all of these players' shoulders. But I mean, it's a great way to start off. A pretty long game as well, 13 minutes. Do we feel like that's going to be similar pacing through the rest of this series here, Ben?
I think it's likely. I mean, we're seeing the best teams basically in all of Europe go head-to-head, and if they're trading the proper defensive cooldowns at the right moments, then the game you kind of need dampening for it to close out. So I would expect a lot of games to kind of go to that mark where the damage just kind of overwhelms healing. As it seems like everyone is playing a really solid game in terms of defense here today. I really kind of wonder, though, what we're going to see from Reload Esports. Method EU, I wonder if they can afford to run this composition again. I feel like if they do, I want to see the Ret Warrior, but I want to see it with the Divine Toll. I really feel like the Kyrian for the Retribution Paladin is super important. Sure, you lose a little bit of that defense, but you gain so much in terms of offense that I feel like you can keep Method on the back foot a little bit more.
Well, we're going to find out shortly what they decide to do in that draft. It's going to be Reload Esports map choice. If you look at the record between these two teams as well, they're tied up. They've played each other twice in Shadowlands. It's been a victory for Method, and it's been a victory for Reload Esports. The last cup, I think Sid mentioned a little bit, was in Circuit Week number 2, and that was Reload Esports. A series that they did win, but right now, I mean, you know, Method EU figured something out here for game number 1 at least, and they have taken that first victory. So we'll see if Reload Esports does counter that and comes back tying things up. It's Hook Point that we will be going to as well.
I actually think they should play. Sorry.
I was just going to say their strategy, no matter what, I think, is just running Method EU out of mana. I don't think there's a single comp that Method EU can play that the main win condition for Reload Esports isn't just winning on mana, so they're always going to pick Hook Point, they're always going to pick Dalaran. And now Method EU have to figure out what they want to blind lock. Is that Windwalker Mage going to be their blind lock? Because they're going to be really susceptible. If Chaz didn't get that drink, I mean, even at the end of that last game, Chaz was completely out of mana when they won. So the Windwalker Mage here could be dangerous.
I think they should go triple Necrolord again. I think on big maps, I agree with Van. You play the Kyrian, you're going to need the pressure, because you need pressure to actually stop the drinks with your pressure, because you're playing 2 immobile melees. It's not like a Ret can just go and, you know, drop a Blizzard around the pillar and put a healer in combat or distract him or something. So I think for Reload, play the small map and go with the triple tank Ret Warrior again. But if Method EU picks a big map, you go. Actually, I don't even know if you can blind lock Ret Warrior. If you play on a big map, I think your best bet is to go with the Kyrian. Go for Kyrian and Ventir Warrior. Just go for raw damage, max pressure.
All right, about a minute left for Reload Esports to lock in their composition. Definitely taking their time here as well. This was their map choice, so hopefully they've got a plan heading into this next game, trying to tie things up. If, of course, you're watching from home and you want to see what your favorite player is running within the match, you can head to that description down below the game, or you can go to awc.gcd.tv and you can see everything they're running, including Covenants, and seeing what exactly they're choosing as soon as those gates open up. 30 seconds left. Valet looking, honestly, a little bit, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think is going through his head right now? I was going to say stressed, but I don't even know if that's the right emotion that it looks like Valet's going through.
I mean, I would be stressed. You're in the lower bracket. You're down a game. Method EU has obviously come with a plan, and the plan's looking solid. So I feel like their team, they're really trying to figure out, you know, what they need to do in this one, what composition could they run, because it's not their final chance, but it's getting close to it. If they lose this one, they're on match point, and then they're out in 4th place. They go out of this top 4 and last. Still a good accomplishment to make it to the top 4 to begin with, but it's definitely not what any of these teams wants to find themselves in that situation. So they actually are going to be going with the Retribution Paladin, Arms Warrior, Restoration Shaman once again. And I guess that's a question, like, how much defense do you want? Is your only game plan going to be running Chaz out of mana? or are you going to go for a little bit more damage? Because I feel like if Mystic switches back to Kyrian, it kind of tells me that they were maybe anticipating like a rogue mage. And then all of a sudden, I feel like the Necrolord makes a lot more sense to me because you do have that durability, when you're in stuns, etc., etc. But I still feel like you just miss out on so much offense with that Divine Toll. But we'll have to see what Reload Esports is thinking. Method EU for sure, though. I really like their game plan. You have some low, you have these massive cooldowns, like the Zwen, and he's running the legendary that gives you basically Bloodlust when you use your Zwen. You have Weapons of Order, another 2-minute cooldown you can stack. Use your Storm, Earth, and Fire. Use your Combustion. And if you can just get the Divine Shield with those 4 buttons, those rotate back up. And guess what? Divine Shield isn't a 2-minute cooldown, so the math checks out that eventually they're going to have an exchange that goes their favor if they can hold on to their mana. So I feel like Reload Esports, they really have to close it out. And Mystic is going to be making that switch to get a little bit more damage. And I'm curious to see if they're going to be going after Tessie a little bit more, or if they're going to pressure Waz, because he was able to do a lot in this matchup.
Well, let's see what they can do here. Game number 2, Reload Esports looking to tie things up here on Hook Point. Loser of this series knocked out of the tournament.
All right, we're going to see here. So the Kyrian red, but the Warriors staying Necro. And of course, the Shaman is always going to be a Necro Lord. We're going to see here Tessia looking for the Dragon's Breath out of Invis. He's going to find it. Looking for the sheep here. Where's the stun? Nice Hammer of Justice there by Mystic. Pulling the trigger first here. But Lontar still in the sheep. Combustion is rolling. Wings are active here for Mystic. But Chaz didn't use his Hammer of Justice here in the setup. They needed a stun on Mystic. He's just been spamming Word of Glory, keeping himself alive. Basically wasting Combustion. They're actually getting Waz's triggered in this push, so this is not bad at all here for Reload Esports. Zwen and Combustion, and you didn't even have to trade a single trinket. No real big defensive, but here comes the triple stun. That's going to be the trinket from Mystic there, and that's going to be the Sanctuary there used as well to free up Lontar from that situation. So nice leg sweep there, but now Waz in a lot of trouble here. Chaz in a Stormbolt, going to trade out the sacrifice right there, but they're still doing a lot of redirected damage here. That was nerfed, and now Lontar is in a sheep. Mystic has to run for his life here. If he gets Hammer of Justice, it could be very scary. They get a no follow-up sheep there. Mercy struts it down with the War Banner to get a Hex onto Tessia, and now they are able to get aggressive on the side of Reload Esports. So far, the opener's been looking good for them.
All right, let's see if they can keep it up here. Already burning down almost a quarter of Chaz's mana, holding a large portion of their defense still right off the bat. This is looking really good for Reload Esports. That Necrolord experiment not working out for them in Game 1. And even a Game 1 defeat could lose you a series when teams are so evenly matched like this and have such a wide range of compositions. So that experimentation could cost them gravely here. Chaz is drinking. They need to stop this. Mercy leaps over, but Chaz is already back to full mana. Nice little sneak away by Chaz there, evening out the odds 2 minutes in. Dragon's Breath, Polymorph, not finding it though onto Lontar. And now they go for a leg sweep into a Polymorph. Beautiful setup. They got Storm, Earth, and Fire. That's a lot of damage. They're going to trade the Shield of Vengeance and fear up Waz, trying to slow down the damage here, but the damage could still be quite high. Looks like Mystic has recovered with the intervene from Mercy. Nice defense once again by Reload.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Reload Esports doing well so far. Mystic without a strength, though, could be vulnerable. Zwen rotating up here, and just a few short seconds for Waz. And now that that is available, this could be scary time for Reload Esports. But Waz actually doesn't have a Storm, Earth, and Fire charge available, so he used that a little bit earlier, and now he's going to have to wait to really have that massive hit of damage. Another minute, in fact. Now on the run. Double Dragon's Breath comes in from Tessia. Let's see if he can find the Polymorph. He finds it. Hammer of Justice on the Mystic. Are they going to pull the trigger on that damage? No, they are not. And as a result, they're not going to get any cooldowns here. Mystic's going to be absolutely okay. Is there any more damage? No, there is not. So that was no cooldowns from Method EU. Kind of just a small go coming in, seeing what they could get. If anything, unfortunately not able to find it. Mystic doing a great job deflecting that, but at the same time, look at Chaz. He's positioned so far away. He's going for a drink. A very thirsty Paladin, but that gets shut down by Mercy. And now Reload Esports still playing to their win condition. Get Chaz out of mana. That is the main win condition. You have to survive. You have to get Chaz out of mana. If they can do that, maybe they could actually just drop Waz as well. The Divine Toll definitely keep things interesting, and anyone can get dropped at any moment. Earthen Wall Totem drops out by Lontar, trying to deflect this one attack. It's a lot of damage available here for Method EU. The Storm, Earth, and Fire, the Zwen, the Weapons of Order. Mystic, how are you going to survive this one? The double leg sweep coming in as well. but a beautiful intervene from Mercy. At the same time, though, a nice Ring of Peace shuts that down. No value going to be coming in on that intervene, and as a result, they get the Divine Shield. Waz has been on point with these Ring of Peace. Now, there's a little bit more residual damage here onto Mercy as well. Can they take him down? They're making a swap on Chaz at the same time, trying to punish his offensive plays. Not going to be getting the Divine Shield. That was a huge win for Method EU off the back of that Ring of Peace from Waz.
Yeah, that was excellently done. They do get themselves the Divine Shield, the first really major objective here for Method EU. Chaz sitting up for a drink. Mercy leaping across and taunting him, actually, to put him in combat. And Mercy now going to get sheeped up. Blade Storming to not get re-sheeped there when the Dispel is on cooldown. Nice Storm Bolt here onto Chaz. Here comes damage now onto Waz, but Mercy charging Tessia there, so he not able to get full uptime there, unfortunately. Dropping the War Banner here. Mercy has to kind of balance the offense and the defense. Tessia faking out the War Banner here. Gets the Grounding Totem. Now looking for the Ring of Frost. I think he's going to find it. Nice Fleshcraft there by Lontar. Lontar now is going to have that immunity. Now looking for the Hex here. Trying to find it on the Tessia, and he does. And that's going to allow him to kind of avoid getting crowd control. Now he has to avoid Tessia, because look at Tessia here in frog form. Looking for the Dragon's Breath. Nice Ring of Peace. Waz looking for the triple here, potentially getting a big Fist of Fury. There's the Dragon's Breath. And now Tessia looking for the Polymorph. He's going to find it here. Big damage onto Mystic, but it's only a DR Polymorph there. Mercy now leaping, putting Chaz in combat as he was trying to drink during that attempt. And still, it looks good for Reload Esports. They're able to hang on here with just using Mystic's Trinkets. So not the worst situation. They still have Mercy's Trinkets, have Lontar's cooldowns as well to work with. Defensively, they're good. The main objective is get Chaz mana bar to 0 and make sure that he never gets to drink. Chaz right now with wings up here, keeping Waz nice and aggressive here. They're looking for the next setup here. There's a Hammer of Justice. There is the Paralyze. Lontar trinketing the Paralyze into a Dragon's Breath, potentially getting sheeped here, but no, the damage is done here. Nice interrupt there onto Tessia, but that's it. The next time they can get a sheep onto Lontar, they could actually kill Mystic here 100-0, and it has to be Mercy that saves the day if that happens.
All right, Mercy, are you ready to make a power play here? Dampening just kicking in. Chaz's mana at 50%, Mystic's health at 50%. A dangerous moment for Reload Esports as Method EU look to advance to match point. How will they recover through the pressure? Managing to do so with just Word of Glory and a Healing Stream Totem behind the pillar. In the meantime, Waz not exactly comfortable either, but Chaz looks like he wants to drink. He's off to the left-hand side of the screen at the moment here, but not able to find any opportunities to sit down. Lontar dropping a Sky Fury Totem, trying to amplify the damage of his team here, but they're on defense at the moment. Triple crowd control, beautiful setup. Where's the denial? They pop the rally, but it is not enough. Method EU looks solid on this Windwalker Fire Mage, winning on their worst map.
Wow, I mean, that was a really, really nice performance. Like I said, I mean, Method EU, we heard it in the interview with Morrow. He said, in this situation, Method EU is always one of those teams that kind of rises to the occasion. They always show up. They put their best foot forward. And this is a matchup you can tell they're definitely prepared for. I feel like that was such a great call from you, Sid. Them locking in that Windwalker Fire Mage Paladin. It's worked out well so far. And Reload Esports, this is looking like an absolute disaster for them. I feel like at this point, they almost have no choice but to go back to the Shadow Priest composition.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do here, and that is really unfortunate for them, losing 2 games in a row, and now they're on match point facing elimination. But let's check out that game number 2 replay.
Yeah, and we're going to see it here. So at this point, you know, they get the pressure here. This was another beautiful Ring of Peace there from Waz as well, breaking up the intervene from the Warrior. If you do that with Ring of Peace, between the target that got the intervene and the Warrior, and you can separate them, the intervene actually has a range. The Warrior has to be kind of on top of the guy that was intervened to absorb that damage. So Waz has been doing that the whole time. Now here, they get good pressure, they get a Hammer of Justice, and they get the DR Ring of Frost, and they just keep on chugging the damage there. And the only one who could have done anything about that was Mercy, but for Mercy, it was really awkward there as well, because he was just in a sheep, you know, that he didn't really want to trinket because his healer wasn't crowd controlled yet. But then they pulled the trigger with the Paralyze, and they got the cross CC, trinketed, but it was just too late. The pressure was already, you know, put onto Mystic, and now, what do? If you reload, I say you have to bring in Valet. You have to. I really feel like it's time. Bring in Valet. Go to like a Tiger's Peak or something like that. Maybe Ashermane's and see what he can do here.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that, Ven? You know, when you had that interview with WoW Esports, you're saying that this team, Reload Esports, is kind of like tailored to to Valet. Is that something that you think that would help them turn around their series here?
Well, I would say during the Cups, it wasn't really about Valet. It was more about the Ret Warrior. We saw Mystic play a lot more, but as the Cups went on and we got into the round-robin stages, Valet kind of stepped up and was a really crucial member for them, running that Shadow Priest, Warrior Shaman. A composition obviously did incredibly well for them making it into this top 4. They might need to tag him in. I mean, this is really their last chance. 2 games in a row, the Ret Warrior's not working. I feel like with the plan method EU has, using the Ring of Peace to disrupt the intervene, just overwhelming with the cooldown of Zwen, it seems difficult. So I feel like they really do got to switch it up. They got to bring in Valet on that Shadow Priest once again, and it's their last chance. I mean, if they lose this next game, they're out of the top 4, and they're going to be coming in 4th place.
I mean, it's got to be a really rough position to be in. They kind of just barely, like at the last minute, made it into top 4 in that circuit. And now here they are in the finals. They lost their first series. And now they're facing elimination here in this one now. If they lose this next game, they've got to be feeling just a little bit frustrated here, Supatis. So I really hope that it's not getting them too much in the head here, but they've got to do something for game number 3.
I don't know if frustrated is going to do it justice when you're out of the tournament in last place. Probably disappointed. It seems like they were really riding on this experimentation with the Necrolord Red. It could have almost worked. I'm surprised they didn't try it again on Hook Point and just deny drinks and win on mana and then switch to Shadow Priest. Like get the win there and then play out the rest of the series by ear, because now I think it's likely that they're going to have to reverse sweep with Shadow Priest, Warrior Shaman as well. And there's nothing else that they've really got on the table, I think, that can work in this matchup in particular. Whereas Method EU, I feel like they can confidently lock in the Fire Windwalker Holy Paladin, because they've won with that comp in the past. Looking at my notes, they've won in the past with this comp against Shadow Warrior, and they now have won versus Ret Warrior. So they basically beat Reload Esports. Those are all their comps, pretty much. So they're going to need a miracle. A reverse sweep against a team that has an answer for your entire team? That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. You can see it on Valet's face right now, just how he's feeling. About a minute left here to pick their composition, and we don't really know what happens in these situations. Sometimes it's like, do they not know what they want to play? Do they know what they want to play but don't really know what they want to do? They have locked in Tiger's Peak. We're seeing Method EU on that same composition as well. Zico, what do you think that they're thinking right now? What's going on in those comps?
Oh, yeah, I like this. That's kind of what I was talking about. I said I want to see some neutral map, kind of like Tiger's Peak, and then just bring in Valet here on the Shadow Priest. Now, you have 2 options. Either you bring in the Glass, a.k.a. Mercy, on his Warlock, and you play Shadow Priest Warlock. I don't think you should do that. I think you just play Shadow Priest Warrior. You try to play a long, solid game. You try to play that defense game. And then in dampening, if you can get, Waz off of the Shadow Priest, and you can start developing that rot pressure, you can ride that momentum and grab the win. But I think it's going to be extremely tough for them. There's a lot of lockdown on the comp that Method is running. And of course, if they can get those sheeps onto Lontar and stun up Valet, it's going to be very scary for him, especially with those Rings of Pieces, kind of stopping the intervenes. And yeah, this is, if I was on Reload, this is 100% what I would do. I would pick Tiger's Peak. I would pick this composition, and I would just try to play it out, try to just overcome with your most comfortable composition here, because they look more comfortable on the Warrior Shadow Priest compared to the Ret Warrior. So I think that's if you have to pick a main comp for this team, it's got to be the Shadow Priest Warrior. So stick to your mains and just sometimes just being on your most comfortable setup, even if it's a counter matchup, is better than having the good matchup. But you're not 100% if you want to play Kyrian or Necro, or if you want to go Windwalker or Pally, or like what the game plan is. So I think this is good from Reload. This is their best chance.
All right, bringing out Valet here when it really counts. They cannot afford to lose a game just yet. So let's see if Valet is their ticket to turning this one around. But I mean, like we've said so much, this is a very, very rough situation to be in, because even if Reload does manage to get this victory right here, then it's Method EU's map choice, and they're going to have to blind lock in a composition. So they have got to, they've got to really be keeping strong here, regardless of what happens in this next game. game. It's going to be a difficult road for them, but we know what they can do. They're here in the top 4 for a reason, and they're bringing out Valet, who's kind of this team's secret weapon here, Ven. So what kind of setups are we going to be looking for in this matchup on Tiger's Peak now that we're seeing Reload Esports composition?
Yeah, it's curious. I think we've seen this matchup play out before, and what we saw basically was Method EU and Waz putting out a ton of pressure on Valet, so just a ton of consistent damage. For Reload Esports, it's going to be about, once again, they have to survive those cooldowns. With their composition, when everything's normal, there's no cooldowns popped, that's when they have the advantage. The Warrior and the Shadow Priest is going to have a lot of consistent damage, but they don't have those heavy-hitting cooldowns like Zwen and Combustion. So they basically have to weather the storm during Combustion, weather the storm during Zwen, and then make a push and try to get something done when those cooldowns are out of the way, and that's when they have their advantage. So for Reload Esports, it's just about consistency, kind of deflecting the one-shots that Method EU has. If they can do that, they can win. They can stop the drinks. That's another win condition for them, but I think Method EU is not going to make that easy for them. Their setups have looked really good, and Chaz has been pretty greedy with the drinks and been doing a good job so far. And I have no reason to suspect that he's not going to be able to drink in this map.
All right, well, it's going to be a really difficult turnaround for Reload Esports. Let's see what they can do here in game number 3. If you're a fan of these guys, you do not want them to lose this game. This would be detrimental to them. They'd be knocked out of the tournament, and that would be 4th place for them. So it'd be super unfortunate to see them go in this way. I'd like to see them at least get a game off here of Method EU. But Method EU on match point on Tiger's Peak, Super Tees.
You know what? Like, Valet is a veteran. He has been competing for a long time. I can imagine his compadre healing stat is really rooting for him to get a win in one of these major events. Now it's completely in his own hands. Can Valet take his team to victory? I feel like he's been on the bench in a lot of teams where they couldn't utilize him, and this is the first roster that's really been relying on him, and they're 100% relying on him here on match point for a reverse sweep. He's going to have to beat Method EU 3 times in a row if they want to stay alive in the tournament, facing down a very threatening Windwalker Fire Mage.
Yeah, let's see if they can do it. Waz right now going to be starting onto Valet. It's going to be a very scary situation Valet finds himself in at this point. Let's see what they can get done. Silence onto Chaz. They're looking to get aggressive here onto Tessia. Tessia just positioning far away. He's going to be rotating away from the fight, just trying to bait Mercy into the open so he can potentially get some crowd control. There's the Paralyzed, but no Hammer of Justice follow-up, so in this particular matchup, Tessia doesn't actually have to go for crowd control on Lontar. They can win in just the Paralyze. So if they just paralyze the Shaman and then use their cooldowns, they can drop Valet very quickly. And that's kind of the devastating thing for Reload Esports is you can't really deny that crowd control from Waz. So those setups are going to consistently come in. Here's the double leg sweep. Combustion just going to be used right away. Trinket intimidating shot by Mercy, trying to shut that down, but residual damage onto Mercy. A little damage here onto Valet also, as Waz is looking to reconnect. He still has that Zwen. This is going to be a huge hit of damage. We need to see Lotar respond, and he does with his Ascendance to keep his team alive, but not a bad start here for Method EU.
Great pressure so far, and Valet is still not out of the woods yet. Lontar now in a counter spell. They might have more crowd control there. Lontar anticipates it with the Fleshcraft. You don't have an interrupt for the Fleshcraft, so he's going to be immune for a little bit, but Valet still very, very unstable here. His HP is just going up and down, up and down. Chest trinkets, but I think he missed his blinding light right there onto Lontar and not able to find that one. It's going to be very, very unfortunate for him. That's a long cooldown right there. And now here is an opportunity to get aggressive for Mercy and Valet. There's the Mind Games onto Tessia. Beautiful damage here. Chasko coming out with the Dispel there. Whereas though still just unrelenting pressure here onto Valet. Spinning Crane Kick coming out. There's the Fist of Fury with the Turbo Fist just cleaving Mercy and Valet. And so far, Waz Walker right now is just walking all over Reload Esports. Chaz pushing in now, looking for the Hammer of Justice. They're looking for the ground control. Lontar trying to pre-ground it. Chaz doesn't fall for it. There's the grounding totem. There's the Hammer of Justice now. There's the Combustion, but it gets dispelled by Valet. Nice defense there. Dispelling the offensive cooldown of the mage, saving himself, gets the Master Spell as well. This is why you need to tag this guy in here, but still Valet taking a lot of damage here from Waz, still all over him. And Mercy right now trying to shut down Chaz. Chaz is so far away drinking here, and even if he gets stopped there, he removes the Warrior completely from the match, so it's just a Windwalker basically basically punching a Shadow Freeze. So definitely good plays here from Chaz, going for these early drinks because they are going to be trying to shut those down. So he has to try to look for them early on and see when he can find one. So far, it's looking pretty good for Method EU. They have good pressure, but Villet now has his cooldowns back here with another push happening here. There's the Paralyzed and Sheep kind of overlap there onto Lontar, so it's DR'd, unfortunately, and that should be the Zwen go, actually, kind of being botched there for Waz. Oh, double step.
Ooh, look at this setup. Valet, greater fades at 30% health. Zwen is still out and tearing up the battlefield. Mercy getting cleaved down a bit as well from that redirected intervene pressure. If they can get this combustion from Tessia, it could be lights out if Valet is interrupted for even a moment on Shadow. I'm really waiting to see if we see a counterspell on Shadow. There's the counterspell. Combustion's not up for 10 more seconds, though. They've committed the blinding light. Perhaps if Waz can land an interrupt as well, but he's caught in a quaking palm. Valet gets Dragon's Breath on his mind games. Valet is 3 versus 1 on match point for 2 more seconds. Big pressure coming in, and Valet needs to trade his dispersion, but it's more than fair with the combustion from Tessia. Chaz is trying to escape, but Valet is still getting blasted. Will he be able to recover on match point? Spirit Link in the back pocket of Lontar. He's trying to greed it. He doesn't want to overcommit his entire defensive line, so he's going to take the gamble. Oh, beautiful Spirit Walker's Grace on that Ring of Peace. Knockback, preventing it from interrupting his cast. Nicely played by Lontar. Now Chaz stunned. Tessia likely the target, but Mercy's polymorphed. He can't connect whatsoever. Tessia totally shutting Mercy down during that crowd control, but now managing to connect with a Stormbolt. If Valet can fish out of mind games here, it could be big pressure. Chaz isn't confident. He's going to trade out Sacrifice. Big value Blade Storm from Mercy, and Chaz is going to have to spend a lot of mana to heal through that. Valet going to pre-Greater Fade as Lontar was counterspelled, anticipating some damage, but it wasn't any cooldowns, and now he'll lose out on that immunity cooldown. Chaz is just always drinking. Man, Method EU are just a menace for Reload Esports. They're not giving them any breathing room. As soon as they even think that they've got an opportunity to recover, Chaz is drinking to full mana. This is devastating on match point. Beautiful crowd control once again from Method EU. This Windwalker Mage is looking clean.
Yeah, it's looking really nice. A beautiful Ring of Peace once again, separating Valet from Mercy and allowing Waz to get out a lot of damage here. This Zwen is available. Tons of damage for Method EU. This is match point. Reload Esports, they don't want to throw this one away. They're still going for it. Big pressure here onto Tessia. It looks like he will get topped off, and he will be able to survive. But Mercy kind of unrelenting here, just continuing to put up the pressure. Tessia going to be moving away, getting a double blinding light. He baits him on top of Lontar. They get the double crowd control. Well, he goes for a Master Spell, but was getting rooted on his Storm, Earth, and Fire. His damage is going to be limited. This is the combustion as well. Valet kind of shrugging off that damage. So far, it looks like Reload Esports, they do kind of weather the storm of the Zwen. At the same time, Tessia getting absolutely destroyed. Grapple weapon coming in from Waz to slow down some of that warrior damage. Valet getting incredibly low. Needs to be careful. He's got the dispersion if he needs it, but does not want to throw away this game, as that will throw away the series and their chances of making it a little bit further in this tournament. Definitely a scary situation to be in, but they're continuing to put on pressure on the Tessia, which is exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, they're still showing some signs of life here on the side of Reload Esports. Their backs are against the wall. They're against the counter matchup here, and they're going to have to do it 3 times in a row if they want to win this one. Valet, nice double fear, Master Spell combo here, shutting down the setup. Mercy was in a sheep right there. That was about to be a 3 versus 1, but Valet anticipates it and shuts it down right there. Now going for the mind games here, trying to get aggressive, trying to get something going here, but so far it is not working out too well for him. Chaz just running around trying to look for drinks, having tons of mana. Now Valet here stuck in a leg sweep. There's the preemptive Earthen Wall Totem doing some work there from Lontar. Excellently done there by him, and that's going to be the Ring of Frost now DR onto Lontar. Potential for more crowd control. There's a Dragon's Breath as well for good measures into a triple DR sheep. This setup is not over yet. There's a Ring of Peace. That's going to force out the Spirit Link Totem there. Very nice push there from Method. It didn't look like they were going to get a big cooldown there, but they definitely did, and that late combustion there by Tessia doing a lot of work there for them. Lontar's mana not looking great. Chaz was able to sit down and drink. Valet still very, very low on HP. Goes for the fade into the Shadowman. Now he's looking for the Master Spell, but Waz goes for the interrupt there. They overlap the kicks though, so Valet here should be able to just free cast whatever he wants here. Rare mistake there from Method, and that's going to allow Valet to survive, but he has no cooldowns left. Lontar has no cooldowns left. The next setup, I don't know how he's going to survive. Mercy is going to have to pull out a miracle.
Overwhelming odds right now for Reload Esports as Method EU close it out 3-0. This is the Method EU we know and love.
I mean, just from start to finish in this series, Method EU, they came with a game plan. They came with a Windwalker Fire Mage Paladin. We haven't seen this composition too much from them, but it looks good every time they play it. And this time is no different. They keep their tournament dreams alive. Unfortunately for Reload Esports, they are going to be eliminated in 4th. But Method EU, now they get to kind of see what happens in the upper finals to see who their next opponent is.